Hello everyone and welcome to this hands-on lab on Amazon Bedrock. In our lab today, we will learn how to perform model customization and continue its pre-training using unlabeled data. These are some reference URLs that I've mentioned over here. I would certainly recommend that you visit these URLs as they have additional information on this particular topic. I have also created a playlist for Amazon Bedrock on my channel. Both the reference URLs as well as the URL to the Amazon Bedrock playlist will be mentioned in the description of this video. Prerequisites for our lab today is knowledge of Amazon Bedrock's model customization feature. Hence, if you do not know what Amazon Bedrock is all about or how model customization works, please refer to this overview tutorial that I had created some time back. URL to the tutorial is mentioned right here at the bottom as well as in the description of this video. Scenario for our lab today. So models continued pre-training uses unlabeled data in order to train the model. So in this lab, what we are going to do is we are going to select a model, and this could be any model of your choice, and continue its pre-training. How are we going to do that? We are going to generate an unlabeled data set for financial investment assets. So this is our topic or our use case using Amazon Q that will be used to continue models pre-training. Now, of course, you can choose any model that you like or any topic that you like. I'm going to use a specific model in this lab, and I'm going to create an unlabeled data set to continue that model's pre-training on financial investment assets. And finally, after our pre-training has been completed, we will have a pre-trained model. Once you have created your pre-trained model, remember that you must purchase provision throughput to users. Now, this is as of today. Today is 28th of June, 2025. This may change in the future, but while I'm recording this lab, you must purchase provision throughput to basically use your pre-trained model. A couple of things to keep in mind before we proceed further ahead. I will be using either US East or US West region to do this lab. Now you feel free, to use any other regions, but ensure that whatever region that you use supports the model of your choice. I will be also using Titan Text G1 Lite to perform continued pre-training. Now you can use another model of your choice. Again, ensure that it's supported in your region. And most importantly, ensure that you check its pricing. So I don't want anybody to get burnt. Please check the pricing of the model. Otherwise, you can get a nice, good long bill from AWS. And of course, this goes without saying, you must delete or release all resources after the lab has been completed. Okay, some of the services and the models that we use are very expensive. So ensure that everything that you have provisioned is deleted. I would not even keep any roles or anything of that sort. Delete all resources after you complete this lab. So let's get started. So first thing that we need to do is we need to create two S3 buckets. So these are the names that I'm going to give, my CPT input and my CPT output. So let's do that, and let's go to, okay, I'm going to close this one, go here to S3. Go to general purpose buckets and create bucket. And it's my CPT input. I'll copy this, scroll down and click on create bucket. Create another bucket for output. So same, instead of input, it is going to be my CPT output. And we have created our two buckets. So my CPT input and my CPT output. So this step has been completed. Step two, in step two, we will have to create a data set for our model's continued pre-training. And how are we going to do that? We are going to go to Amazon Q Developer. You're going to use a free version. And we are going to give it a prompt to create a sample data set with 10 records on financial investment assets. Of course, without any JSON spacing. And this is for Amazon Bedrock's continued pre-training job for our model. Now, I'm going to use Titan Text G1 Lite. If you are going to use a different model, then ensure that you give the name of the right model. So let me go to my PowerPoint slide and copy this since I already have it typed out. And here I'm going to go to Q. This is Q. And let's paste this right here, okay? So create an unlabeled, let me highlight this for you. So create an unlabeled sample data set with 10 records on financial investment assets without JSON spacing for Amazon Bedrock's continued pre-training job for Titan Text G1 Lite. That's the name of my model that I am planning to use in this lab. So let's hit enter and let's see what it does now. So hopefully it understands our prompt. Our prompt is pretty clear and there should not be any confusion. Okay, it's finally understood. So it started creating a sample data set and we've only requested for 10 records. Now, let's say if you do not give 10 records, it will actually create a sizable data set and that's going to take some time. Since I'm recording this lab, I'm only giving, the prompt, or I'm giving a prompt with a constraint, let's put it that way, that, hey, create a data set with 10 records. While you are doing this on your own, you can remove that constraint with 10 records and just say that, hey, create a sample data set. But bear in mind, that's going to create a large data set and that will take some time. So you have to be patient. Otherwise, give it a constraint like how I have that, hey, create a sample data set with 10 records. And then what you can do is keep on duplicating those records in your sample data set file. Okay, so there it is. It has created 10 records. All the records have been created, which is good. And now it's telling me to save this data in a JSON-L file, upload it in Amazon S3 bucket, and then basically use it. Now, while this 10 record sample is smaller than the recommended few thousand records for meaningful result, it serves as a good starting template that you can expand with more financial investment content to create a more comprehensive training data set. So now you understand why I was telling you that it will create a larger data set. Now, typically when you are doing this continued pre-training, you are expected to have, I believe, a few thousand records. We can even ask you, so like, how many records are typically expected to be in this data set? It'll be a few thousand records. Hopefully it answers the question correctly. But right now, since this is a lab environment, we are only going to use 10 records and we replicate those records a couple of times, maybe make it 30 or 40. But in real life, you will probably need a few thousand records. Okay. So it's probably thinking and it will retrieve the knowledge and eventually let you know it's typically supposed to be in thousands. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this and go to my notepad. Okay, paste it right there. So these are my 10 records, which is, I'm going to select Control A, Control C. So I've selected everything in this, which is a good thing. Scroll down towards the end, Control B, Control B. So I have copied those 10 records twice. So I have a total of 30 records right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. So save as, And I'm going to say I want to create my JSON-L file. So it should be input data.jsonl. Okay. Save. I already have the files. I'm going to replace it. So this is my input data.jsonl file, and it has 30 records. So let me close this. Let's see if it came back with a response. It was thinking. See, there it is. So the maximum limit for this particular model is 100,000 records, combined training and validation data sets. And minimum is a few thousand records, typically 3,000 to 5,000 for basic domain adaptation, but recommended is 10,000 to 50,000 records. And I think the maximum limit is 100,000 records. So whichever model that you are using, please understand, how many records are required for its pre-training, and you will have to give that main number of records in a live environment. Now, since this is a lab, we are only going to use 30 records. Otherwise, our job will take forever, and we don't want that to happen. So let's go over here, and we have basically completed this step. The only thing that I wanted to show you was this particular sample data set. I think I have it opened over here. So this is generally how a sample data set looks like, right? So input and input text. So this is a sample over here. And I think I did close that one, but let me see if I can open it. The one that we have as part of Bedrock, our input data JSON, that is also in a similar manner. So if you see, there's input and then there is some information over here. This information is mostly a statement. So that's the difference between, some of the data sets that you have created in the earlier labs, if you have been following the playlist. In the earlier labs, it's more of a prompt, like a question and a response, but these are mostly statements or information. So like you see over here in the sample as well, AWS stands for AWS Amazon Web Services. And this is nothing else but, let's say, a fact, or it's a statement. Like, okay, this is what this stands for. And you have to basically consume this information and take it further ahead. Similarly, the data set that we have created over here as well using Amazon Q, this is all information, if you see. So it's not a prompt and a response. If you see, each and every record over here is basically an input, and it's all information. Like this talks about bonds, this talks about ETFs, this talks about REITs. So all of this is all information. And of course, you can create your own information or your own record as well. We basically just used Amazon Q to kind of get this data set created. In real life, perhaps your business might give you this information, or you might have to go back to the business or who is an expert or an SME, depending upon, let's say your use case. In my case, it's financial investments assets. So I might have to go to like a CFA or a CPA, or, somebody who is a portfolio manager of financial investment assets, and ask them, hey, can you give me some facts, some inputs that I can use to train my model? But that's something that is absolutely critical, and I wanted to highlight this to you. So these are all inputs. These are not prompt and responses. That is the biggest difference between, let's say, model customization if you've been doing distillation or fine tuning. But when it comes to continued pre-training, this is more about providing additional information to the model so that it can continue, as the name suggests, is pre-training. So hopefully this difference is clear. I mean, if you go and even look at it, it does not have prompt or anything. It just has this input, uh, you know, this input as a single record, and it's kind of in this curly braces. So this is a different kind of format. Okay, so let me now go back, and we've completed this step. So this is good. Let's upload this file to S3. So let me just close this first. I don't want to keep it open. Okay, now let us go to close this as well. Close this as well. S3. general purpose buckets. This is my CPT input. So let me upload the file here. This is our input data JSON file. Open and upload. So a file has been uploaded successfully, right? So let me go back over here. So this step has been completed. Now let us go ahead and create a continued pre-training job for our model. So let's go to Bedrock. Foundation models, custom models, and create continued pre-training job. So let's click on this. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to select our model. This is a model that we are going to use. Give it a pre-trained model name and a job name, and select your S3 location for your input, and then adjust any hyperparameters if you want to, and then give the output location, create a new service role, and then finally go ahead and create a continued pre-training job. So let us go over here. This is the models. I'm going to use this one. Again, you can use any model of your choice. And depending on the model, some of the hyperparameters that I mentioned over here might change. Okay, so don't be alarmed. Thus, I'm not going to change any of the hyperparameters, but depending on your model, some of those hyperparameters might change. So I am going to give this as a name, my CPT model, my CPT job. So my continuous pre-training job. This is the name of a model. This is the name of our job. Let's go ahead and select our input data JSON file as our input. We do not have any validation data set, so we are good. Hyperparameters, I'm not going to touch them. And we are going to select our output bucket right there. Scroll down. We will need to give a new service role. So I'm going to say my CPT Bedrock service role. Again, you can give any name of your choice, which is good. And I guess we have given all the required parameters. And now we are good to go. Remember, it is again telling you that you must purchase provision throughput to use the pre-trained model. So after you've created your pre-trained model, you must purchase provision throughput to use it. So let's go ahead and click on create continued pre-training job. Now, once I create this job, it's going to go ahead and create my role. It's going to validate my JSON file. If everything goes well, then it will continue with the job. With 30 records as well, it can typically take about 45 minutes to an hour. That depends upon, some of your hyperparameters as well as the number of records you have. So we've kept it to a minimum, but still, so be patient. And again, it depends on your models. If your model might take a little longer, you will have to be patient as well. Once this job has been completed, the status will change to complete, and you will be able to see your pre-trained model under the models tab. So let me go ahead and now get this job started. So let's click on create continued pre-training job. Okay. So it's saying this role policy, duplicate names are not allowed. Okay, so this is already existing. Okay, so what should I give? I should give some other name. My model. Okay, hold on. My CPT model customization row. Okay, hopefully this works and it continues further ahead. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and create that role, and then it will automatically submit this form once the role has been created. So let's just wait for it. Hopefully that happens in the next couple of seconds. Okay. Dude. Okay, so this is in use, so I didn't like it. So good is that it's giving me all these errors. So now you know that, hey, every time. And now hopefully it does not have this role. So I'm going to give it a new role name. Okay, just to ensure that nothing duplicate already exists. Okay, still validating. Okay, so it seems that a job has been created. So the job has been created is right there. And it will go ahead and now validate a JSON-L file. If the file does not validate, the job will fail. So if you see over here, one of my first jobs failed because the file did not validate really very well. The next one actually completed successfully. And this is while I'm recording the lab. So if the file validation fails, then the job will fail. If not, it will continue further ahead and it will take about 30 to 45 minutes. And then once the job has been completed, our pre-trained model should be listed over here. So let me see. Yeah, I think I should be good with this job. It's going to continue further ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. Hopefully this job continues further ahead successfully. And once it completes, I will restart my recording. So our job has completed successfully, as you can see here. And this is the job name. This is the model that has been created. So if I go back to models, we should be able to see our continued pre-trained model right here. So this is the custom model name. And these are the hyperparameters. If you want, you can look at the output data as well. And if you would like to use this particular model that you have created, specifically for financial investment assets, because this model was pre-trained for this data, you want to use it, then you will have to go ahead and purchase provision throughput. So if you click on that, it will actually tell you to give a provision throughput name, the commitment and the term, model units, and then eventually go ahead and purchase that. So I am not going to be purchasing right now because this is purely for learning purposes. But let's say in a real life scenario or in your production environment, once you have your pre-trained model and you want to use it, then you will have to purchase provision throughput. So give the relevant information and go ahead and purchase it. But do check out the commitment and the pricing before you go ahead and purchase the model. So I hope that this lab was helpful to play around with some of these customizations. Distillation, fine tuning, continued pre-training is really very good. Uh, I mean, you can potentially create your own models, and then if you can, want to use them in your production environment, you most certainly can as well. And remember to delete all resources. I just deleted my model. I will be deleting other resources like my S3 buckets and my roles as well. So do not forget to do that. Okay. So thank you very much. Do post your comments and I will see you shortly in some other video. So then take care. Bye bye.